Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
It's Friday. No, it's not.
It's not Friday.
Not Friday. It's Saturday.
It's
yeah.
Saturday.
It's Saturday podcast.
Is it Saturday?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Two Dads podcast on a Saturday
A lovely
night.
day in Melbourne.
It was a beautiful day, and it's a Saturday night.
Beautiful
Our normal podcast Friday didn't happen. We had other commitments as dads.
Yep.
Hence the reason why this is the Two Dads podcast. That's TOO, and it's because why, Sadiq? We are
just too much like dads.
too much like dads, and Sid had commitments, and I had commitments, and
I had to pick up the fruit of my loins from his job
that's it.
on Black Friday.
Oh, it was Black Friday, yes. And Cyber Monday's
Yeah.
coming up as well.
So you finish work after 10.
Yep. Good on him. But here we
I
are.
have an issue with Black Friday because it's an American thing.
Yeah.
And somehow, as always, through the wonderful world of cultural appropriation, because the Americans do it, it must be okay.
We have to.
Yeah, so we have to do it as well.
So we have to do it as well. Oh, well. It's good for retail. Retail need it, so hopefully it was a big day for them. Cyber Monday's coming up on Monday, just for everybody out there. And welcome back.
It wasn't for the J-Man store. They actually made under their budget.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. But hey, this happens sometimes. What is happening is episode 8. And welcome back, all of our viewers on YouTube, our listeners. Ocho. Welcome. And thank you for clicking on. If you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button. Click something if you wouldn't mind, please. Just a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Anything.
Like us.
We'd love for this channel to grow, and every like that we get just helps push the channel along a little bit more. And just so we're clear, I'm Phil, the Uber man, and that's Sid.
I am the other man.
He's the other man, and together, as I said, Two Dads podcast.
He's loving that nomenclature. He's the Uber man.
And the reason
the other
why...
man.
And the reason
it's Saturday, man.
And it is, man. And the reason, man, why we are two dads, too much like dads, we like a good pun. That's why it's TOO. And that's how we like to kick off our episodes. What have you got for us today?
We love a good pun. We love a good pun.
What have you got?
I've actually sourced some myself as I've been out and about.
As you are in your work, you're out and about all the time.
So if you happen to go past the Glen Shopping Centre in a lovely suburb of Melbourne, which I believe for the Athena Real Estate,
she does reside the Athena Real Estate out in Glen Waverley. That's correct. Yep. That is her kingdom.
And Phil, this is close to your heart because you're an Italian man.
I am Italian blood, Australian born and bred, but Italian blood. That's correct.
Italian blood. So you could go to Scusi Me.
Scusi me. Excuse me.
And just to prove that I'm not lying,
there it is.
Scusi me.
Scusa me, which means excuse
Italiano.
me. That's a good one. That is a good one. I didn't know that were there.
Yeah, well, see, you never know that.
I never know that. I didn't ever know that were there. Glen Waverley.
Yep.
Scusa me. Excuse me. So.
And also another one I found in Glen Waverley as well is this one.
What's this one?
So just hold on. We have some special effects.
Yeah, special effects. So hang on.
Fry me to heaven.
Fry me to heaven.
Oh, it's gold. It's always
Fry
gold.
me to heaven. That's good.
Fry me to heaven.
That's a good one.
And I'm
so
all
many.
about the puns.
There's so many of them.
And these ones I have found myself as I
can't believe
just happened to actually go past.
Wow.
So this one is at the market in for Coburg.
Go nuts.
Go nuts.
Just go nuts.
Go nuts. Oh.
I can't get over how many there are.
And these are just ones I've seen as I'm going around. As I'm going around.
So these are the ones you've seen this week. So you've seen three restaurants or places of business with these puns. Well, there you go.
Oh, and this one I just came across in the afternoon, and as we're going past, because we went out for lunch.
Okay.
And I went past this one, This is going to turn into the pun show.
Bow tie. And if the listeners aren't watching it, you should watch this. But it's bow tie, as in bow, and the Thai restaurant, and the accent on the I is a bow tie on the word tie. That is brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
People
Man, this one myself. Just walk past it.
bow tie.
You can't write this stuff.
No, you can't write
Honestly,
it. But
you can't write this stuff.
People put thought into it.
They put thought into their restaurant.
And it must be so far.
So that's
hospitality.
three, right?
The hospitality industry is pun city. I love it.
Out of the park, man. They've blown it out of the park. So you like tie, I like shirt. Would have been a great name for a dry cleaner as well.
Please, if you're looking for any inspiration, send us an email on twodads.pc. That's TOOdads.pc @gmail.com, and Sadiq will be more than happy to oblige.
So that's three.
That's brilliant. 3 in a week.
So for episode 8, to celebrate, I'm going to give 5. 5 puns.
You got 5.
5 puns. Got 5. So I've done 3 so far. Now we're going to.
Is that true?
So number 4.
Yep.
If you happen to find yourself in a suburb in Melbourne called
Baldwin, yes, I know what that is.
Baldwin,
yeah, it's out Doncaster way-ish sort of way.
And if you feel like some sort of a coffee, you can go to for thanks a latte.
Thanks a latte very much. There you go. People put thought, man. They don't take this shit lightly. There's intention behind this.
It's intention. People are putting serious thought into their
sitting down and then really coming up with something catchy.
Thanks a latte.
But it sticks.
Yeah.
Where you want to go for coffee? Thanks a latte.
Latte.
Oh. All right. That's number 4.
In Richmond, another suburb in Melbourne.
Yes, one in the inner city. Very inner city suburb.
If you're looking for a bike.
Yeah.
Or accessories.
So outside hospitality. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, this is outside hospitality. So you can go to for midlife cycles. Midlife cycles.
And it's normally men in their midlife.
That's right.
They need to dress up in lycra and hit the...
So the middle-aged men. That's
my cousin is
down for Beach Road.
My cousin being one of them. My cousin is one of them.
And the clip-clop.
Those shoes.
It's shoes.
Midlife
the ones
cycle.
that stand to the lights, and they're doing
and they balance. They try to balance with the tire. The front wheel. Midlife cycles. That's great. That's good.
So
Guaranteed.
that's 5 puns.
Guaranteed. The clientele at that business would be 48 plus, between 48, 50 to 60, easy. That's what that clientele would be, 100%. Yep.
all trying to relive their youth to claim some sort of for glory.
Speaking of glory, what have you got for us?
I was going to add this later. We haven't even started with what.
No, we haven't started with the topic. The serious one. We're just clowning around.
I was just going to say, if I see another sports professional male crying on the TV, I'm going to lose it. We're
talking about Painey, aren't we?
I'm going to lose it.
Who else has cried on there?
Yeah, but there's always some sports guy crying. It's just...
I don't know. Maybe...
Man, please. If you're going to cry, at least make it something worthwhile, because of some sort of a text message that you sent years ago, which you probably shouldn't have.
Oh, God.
If you were actually using your actual brain.
Well, that's right. I haven't been following the story because I figure, I don't, that sort of stuff, I steer clear away from, not interested.
It's an eye roller.
Yeah. Anyway,
so here at For Two Dads, loving the puns.
Yes.
We're also loving the dad jokes.
Yes, we do. I was hoping you'd have another one for me. You got some doozies, haven't you?
What do you call a fish with a bow tie?
Fish with a bow tie. I don't know. What do you call him?
Sophisticated. I think one day it may be possible to make Phil pass out. He's a very fit man, but
that's brilliant.
It could be possible.
Sophisticated.
What do you call a fish with a bow tie? Sophisticated.
Sophisticated. That's brilliant. Oh, I rate that. That's a 9.5 out of 10. Very little, but very little room for improvement on that one. What else you got? What else you got?
The next one. And the next one is.
Are you going to be able to get it out?
I'm going to try. I'm going to try. The next one is. What do the Eiffel Tower and a tick have in common?
Oh, God. These are so hard.
I'll say it again. What do the Eiffel Tower and a tick have in common?
A tick, like as in the insect.
What do the Eiffel Tower and a tick have in common?
Oh, man. It's going to be something clever, and I can't pick what it is. Go on. What is it?
They are both parasites. That's it. He's lost it.
Oh, that's awesome.
They can't all be gold, but some of them are just platinum.
Mate, they are absolute platinum.
Just platinum.
Dude, that's shiny. I can't even open my eyes. They are both parasites. That's great. That is great.
The Eiffel Tower and a tick. What do they have in common?
Well, they do. They are
parasites.
Parasites. Oh, do you remember the tick cartoon we used to watch back in the day?
Yeah, man. I've still got all the
Tick
shows.
and Mothman. Remember? Mothman and that dude.
Yes, Mothman's Arthur.
That's right. And the dude that was the iguana, and he couldn't do plaid. He used to crack up every time he tried.
Can't do plaid.
Oh,
great. Fall off the wall.
Oh man, it's so funny. Great get. Those are ripper dad jokes. I love them. They are the best.
So that was a good way to get rid of
some energy,
all the issues from the week. Get rid of some.
Oh, it's been another week.
Pent up frustration.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not on the steps of Parliament House because we actually have jobs.
Yep. We have jobs, and
we're allowed to work.
We are. Exactly. So
shout out to all my countrymen. South Africa.
Yes, your place
is still punching above their weight.
Yep. We
have now given the world a new variant. Call it Omicron.
Omicron.
Something
Omicron. Like yeah.
Something cron.
Oh, that's
Southern Africa.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. It's a bit concerning. I don't think they're.
And this is what we get from a president.
Yeah.
Who admitted to sleeping with prostitutes that had AIDS in an interview, and the interviewer asked him this, and he said, "No, it's fine because I had a shower afterwards."
Oh, right. Okay, it's all good.
So,
God.
And this is a brilliant segue.
Yeah.
To what is the topic of the show?
Okay, so this is the build-up. I'm interested to hear. What are we discussing?
Brilliant segue.
Whose love letter I'll be writing tonight, Sadiq?
So hashtag I don't hold a hose, mate. Is the topic.
Hashtag I don't hold a hose, mate.
So this is from the President of South Africa to the Prime Minister of Australia, who deserves a love letter
It's about leadership, isn't it?
Made in stone with a tablet.
Yeah, it's a bit of lack of leadership.
ScoMo, man,
he's lost control, hasn't he?
It's just, I mean, look, there's no secret on this show that we're not a fan of ScoMo in any way.
No, and I think I'm not a fan of his leadership and the way he goes about it. I mean, we're not.
I'm sure he's a great bloke. I'm sure he's a lovely guy.
But sometimes,
especially when he's wearing a brand new scarf that someone has just unpacked out of the right out of the boxer for the Wallabies or something, and he sticks a scarf around his neck. And
yeah, he'll do that. No, he's a largely sport. But
for those of you who are not hearing or not watching our podcast from Australia, so our Prime Minister, you will all know because it was worldwide news about all the fires that happened in Australia last summer, right?
Summer before. That was summer of 2019.
Oh, sorry. And our Prime Minister famously went to Hawaii.
Late 2019 it was.
While I wouldn't say a third of the country, but as far as the world was concerned,
it was a lot.
It was like a third of the country was on fire, and our Prime Minister decided he would just go to Hawaii with his family, which obviously, he's not a firefighter, but it is about what it represents when your country is in for national for crisis. You don't kind of go on holiday.
Well, he's not. He's one to sort of pass it on to the state premiers, isn't he? You guys look after it.
You guys look after it. Well, that's a state issue, isn't it?
That's right.
Fires?
Yeah, that was.
Fires go across the borders. But yeah, so he did an interview afterwards, which obviously the media savaged him.
Mm-hmm.
And his answer was, "I don't hold a hose, mate," meaning I'm not a firefighter. So
him being here wouldn't have made it. His implication was him being here wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah.
But in
even
leadership,
from a moral or an ethical standpoint,
or a leadership point of view,
or a leadership point of view, which is where we like to everything about. We try to phrase everything on the podcast from an ethical standpoint, and our Prime Minister has once again said that he said something, and then he didn't say something. It wasn't quite what he said, and then he actually did say something, which he didn't.
No.
So
he purported to make a statement, but then when you dig into it, that statement was never made. It was a lot of grey around it. In fact, a completely different version of the truth.
He stood up and said in Parliament that he sent a text message to the Leader of the Opposition.
Yep, Anthony Albanese, that's right.
Yep. Elbow.
Yeah.
ScoMo, and he did. Elbow. Yeah, and he did.
He did, but just that he was going on leave. That's it.
Yeah.
Not where he was going.
He didn't feel there was any need to actually elaborate while a good portion of the country is on fire.
Oh, it was like the eastern.
I'm going on leave.
The eastern seaboard was under a lot, massive. It's probably one of the biggest ones we've seen since 2009, when we had the tragedy here in Victoria at King Lake. So it was huge. It was huge.
So pretty much like Hamid Karzai from Afghanistan, when the proverbial hit the fan, he just left.
He just got up and went, took as much cash as he could, and he just
straight to the airport and just left.
Jeez, unbelievable.
And I'm sure he was still wearing it for the cape as well.
Probably.
So ScoMo has a lot in common with those world leaders.
So let's dig into this. Is it just not his style? Is it not his style to, as a leader, does he feel like he doesn't need to show some sort of leadership? He picks and chooses at the moments where he thinks he needs leadership or needs to display it, because even now, what's happening in Parliament in the last 2 weeks.
Which he's like, I did see the speech that he made yesterday was that here for the Liberal Party, we don't have an autocratic style for leadership. Everyone in the party is allowed to have an opinion. As he was referring to
collectively, though, where do you stand?
Yeah,
as a
I think
party.
he forgets about that. As a party, you're supposed to have a party line and unity and
exactly.
Espousing for the message and the values of the party, and not just a whole lot of individuals that are doing their own thing.
Well, that's what's happening, and at the moment, he's got some kids who are just not listening or doing whatever they want. And it's
how about? I know we've got to be careful of our words. So
yes, we do.
Don't give me that look.
We do.
I'll phrase it. How about undermining the state's mandates?
Yeah.
That is, in my mind, that is probably one of the worst things I've seen any Australian Prime Minister do ever.
It's just, and this is what I'm saying, where does he think, at what point in time does he think, now I need to set up as a leader? That's what I don't understand. Like that fact of him undermining the premiers, who seem all united when it comes to mandates. You look across the world, and it is happening more and more.
It's not just states in Australia that's doing this. It's worldwide.
Absolutely. And yet we've got our Prime Minister who's undermining it. And it's just, I don't know whether it's just coincidence, but there's a little thing coming up at the beginning of next year, which we can't say what it is.
Election.
Yeah, well.
We're allowed to say election.
I believe we are, but it just seems all coincidental. I don't know. Just, it's time that political games are played. Is he playing political games? You would think.
I think the game he should be playing, Phil, is Where's My Spine?
Operation.
That game? What's that game? He should play the game Operation, where he's looking for his spine. No, that's not it. I mean, after everything that's happened, how can you do that and say, well, I think the average Australian is probably sick and tired of the governments telling them what they should do? I mean,
considering what they're dealing with, considering what we're dealing with, it's not as if we're dealing it. They're doing it for the protection of people, albeit there are others that have a different opinion. And up until now, it was all up to states. States are going to do their thing. It's a state problem. It's not a federal problem. And all of a sudden, he's come out with this comment. So he's just, the whole time, through this whole situation, he has kept a total arm's length away from his post as leader of the country.
Yeah. And this is where we're going back. For, like I said, what is the title of episode 8?
Yeah,
which is, I don't hold a hose, mate.
Yeah, so
this is his strategy for everything.
It is. Absolutely. That makes sense. And it goes to show that is his mindset. Because if he had that mindset back in the late summer of 2019, early 2020, when we had those bushfires, and it's not as if they started when he was over in Hawaii. They were raging, and he's going, see you later, I'm booked in, I got to go. And his mentality was, well, I don't hold a hose. I don't manage the coordination of the fire brigade or anything like that, or the CFA. Each state has got their own. Me being there, what's it going to do?
Yeah.
And he's doing exactly the same thing now.
All the Australians that were affected, their whole lives were going up in flames, and towns were losing their lives. Family members,
people,
and just for them to hear, oh, hang on, where's our Prime Minister during all this? Oh, he's in Hawaii.
Yeah, imagine that. While you had a whole town of people, Malakuta, huddled on the beach, waiting for naval ships to come pick them up because there was no way out. It was either water.
They all had to go on the pier. Yeah.
It was either water or fire.
Now, hang on. Can I ask you a question? I know this is not exactly the same thing, but do you think during the Second World War that Sir Winston Churchill, he decided to go to Isle of Pines with his wife?
Well, it is a nice time of year. It is a nice time of year, but I understand what you're saying. It's drawing a long bow, but the premise is the same. If you're the leader of a country and something as devastating as this happens, you're the captain. You don't bail off the ship. You stand at the helm. Even if you know whether I turn this wheel is not going to make a difference, you stand there.
You're going down with the ship, man.
You stand there.
Everyone wants to see the captain helping people off the boat.
Yeah,
I mean, our prime minister is a king, is exactly like the captain for the Costa Concordia.
The Italian bloke who just
exactly. It's exactly the same. And then to try to it's a similar.
God.
Obviously, it's not exactly the same situation. I apologize, but it's a very similar kind of.
But his mindset,
ethos, with the mindset.
But that just tells me he doesn't take it seriously enough. He doesn't appreciate the status or the post or the position that he holds when it comes to being prime minister. It's like this goes back to him having an empathy coach.
That's right.
It has to be, because in his mind he doesn't say, "Oh, well, I can't do anything about it."
Which world leader needs an empathy coach?
I don't understand.
How
I'm sure
badly
Obama
as a country.
I know. I'm sure Obama wouldn't have had one. I'm just saying. Many others
no
either.
Way Obama would have had an empathy coach.
And many others as well. I just don't get it. And we're seeing it now. It's just, we were talking about this last week when the fence he sits on, it's got the biggest U shape you can find because he just won't get off. And he won't stand up.
And then he turns around and says, "No, I wasn't on that fence." But you're like, but it's got the shape
of your backside.
No. I was on the fence. Oh, maybe I was, but only for a little bit.
Just
you're a top bloke.
Unbelievable.
He sticks his bloody Australian mask on, and then honestly, I'm really hiding my. I'm trying to. I know, great, and laughter.
I know,
because it's just how rubbish as a country are we to have allowed a person like this to actually be in charge? I mean, I feel as bad as a sane American during the whole regime for Trump.
Well, that's right. I mean, they're maybe not on the same level, but as far as, I mean, he's a completely different.
Yeah, I know, but it's just the fact that you think, how could it happen with this situation? Have a look at this guy. He looks like someone used a blowtorch on an orange. You know?
That's a very good analogy.
We end up with ScoMo. I mean,
well, I think
the last 18 months to 2 years have been about the 3 C's, right?
Yeah.
Again, this goes right back.
It does.
To what we said from the start.
Actually,
first podcast.
Yeah.
3 C's. 1 for China. 1 for corruption.
Yeah.
And the other one for the virus.
Yes. The Coco.
China and the corruption.
Yeah.
Now, our Attorney General, ScoMo's mate, sued our national broadcaster for defamation.
Yeah, that was last year, wasn't it? Was that last year?
His legal bills amounted to well over $150,000. And someone paid all the legal bills.
Really?
Someone paid all the legal bills. This is our Attorney General, the highest legal authority in the land. Someone
couldn't afford his own.
His
retirement probably is $150K a year.
Yeah. And our Prime Minister supported that. It still hasn't been revealed who paid.
Yeah. It's come out of the coffers, mate. It's come out of the coffers probably.
Yeah. So that's another.
Jeez.
For the corruption side of things, that's it. Yeah, it's.
And not only that,
but it makes my head explode because how can that? It's the Attorney General.
I know, but not only that.
Attorney General.
Wasn't he also meant to introduce a bill, anti-corruption commission?
Yeah.
Bill, and that was one of his promises from the last election. And ScoMo was hanging it
on ICAC as well. ICAC, UCAC.
We all cack.
All of us cack.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just.
But he was meant to, and he's sort of now he's looking like he's trying to delay that. It's not going to happen before the end of Parliament sitting.
No.
It's not going to happen at all. I don't know. I just think he's
The Solomon Islands, Philip.
the
Solomon Islands.
Yeah.
China. Corruption.
Cocoa. Yeah.
Cocoa.
Yeah.
And it does turn
There's
out,
a pattern,
apparently,
right?
this is what I heard as well, that we have actually been supplying all the AFP people since early for 2000. Like they've been stationed in the Solomon Islands.
Yeah, they've had.
So it's not just a new thing since the unrest has been going on. Again, I know we're flip-flopping around a bit, but again, this goes right back to what we've highlighted.
I don't hold the hose, mate.
You know, about the issue for China and how that soft power that they're exercising all over the world, it reaches flashpoints at certain times. And
doorstep, right? It's on our doorstep too. A little bit.
Yeah, and even watched a show earlier in the morning where they were saying that the sentiments for a whole lot of Asian Americans have found adverse reaction since the start of all the cocoa as well. As I've heard that for myself here. I'm going to try to explain this. Like I spoke to a receptionist for one of the clients that I have.
I think
and she had told me that she had a mother and a daughter walk in to the office the one morning at the start of all the cocoa.
Yeah.
And then the mum turns to her. Oh, and the receptionist, she's of Asian appearance.
And let's be clear,
the mother,
Australian born, right? As I understand it.
Australian born.
Australian born. So she's an Aussie. She's an Aussie, mate, basically. Like me.
I was going to say that afterwards.
Sorry.
And the mum of the daughter asked her if she's been overseas.
Yeah.
And then she looked at her and said, well, no, but is there anything I can help you with? And then this woman proceeded to spit at her over the counter and told her to go back to where she came from and to take the virus with her.
Go back to Broadmeadows, wherever she lives. You serious?
This lady who's a lovely, this lady, yeah, I'm serious.
She told her to take it with her.
Spat at her.
Oh, God.
After asking her, has she been overseas recently, spat at her and told her to go back to where she came from and to take the cocoa home with her. This woman is born in Hoppers Crossing. Her parents are market gardeners. She's lived, born and bred in Australia her whole life. And unfortunately,
ignorance. My God.
Again, I'm drawing a bow, but I feel I have to say something like this because our Prime Minister Scott Morrison seems to support those kind of sentiments if it will allow him some more votes.
Yeah.
Just like how he has said that Australians are probably sick and tired of being told what they have to do.
Being told to do by their
the governments.
Yeah.
Because this is what he thinks that he can play the both sides.
It's just playing political games. Libs are good at doing that. They do it a lot.
Says the federal government will never mandate because they cannot. They don't have the power. This is not a federal range of powers. That the health is strictly for the states. That's why the federal government is supplying what's needed.
Yeah. That's right. That's how the Constitution's written. It's in the Constitution.
It's not the vibe. It's not just Marbo.
Yeah, it's the Constitution. It's how
it's the Constitution.
Written. It's not a federal. It's not a federal. Can't play there. But that's because you can't play there. Making a comment like, I think Australians are getting, sick and tired of state governments telling them what to do. The whole point of the structure of our government is for the federal parliament, well, federal and state to work together. So he's just gone and pretty much distanced himself, not shown any leadership, not backed up the other leaders at all.
I just cannot understand.
I don't think he gets it.
I don't think he gets it. I mean,
I'm surprised I'm surprised they haven't.
There should be.
They haven't. There hasn't been a leadership spill. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised, and it could still happen. It could still happen.
Shouldn't certain things be not on the political agenda? Like it should be. What's the good for the country? It shouldn't be. How can I play this off in order to make me look good?
Well,
because
you're right.
I think there's a word. I think there's a word in the English language that isn't it integrity?
Integrity is a good word.
That's a good word to use.
It is a good word. Not often is it portrayed in any way. There's only very few. At a state level, there's some state leaders. In fact, I would say that all the state premiers at the moment are showing good integrity, the way that they're
because because all the state premiers actually have skin in the game. They've got interest in their own. It's not just their electorate. It's the state. They live there.
Chief Gunner.
Their family is there.
Chief Minister Gunner.
Their family is not in another state.
No. Chief Minister Gunner of the Northern Territory. What a man.
We have to give him all the props. So
we do.
Two dads.
We do. I
have to give the Northern Territory Minister full props.
Chief Minister Gunner. Absolutely.
I don't know. I think, Phil, you'll have to post a link for the video.
The video. Yeah. I can.
Because he's made the statement that we all.
Oh, absolutely.
Is true. And it's just so short and sweet. And it's straight to the point.
It is straight to the point. And it's using some good
old earnestness of what he says.
Some good old Aussie vernacular as well.
Yep.
So it just sends a message clearly and precisely how I would like to say and confidently say many of us in the country.
So it's so.
I agree with.
How can we explain that though? To make those understand who are not actually in Australia or haven't heard.
All you got to do.
He's a minister of one of the states.
Yes.
Of the northern states.
Well, northern
states.
Yeah. Northern
Territory. And he was interviewed about the stance of the people opposing mandates.
Mm-hmm.
And he said exactly what our sentiments are.
Mm-hmm. He's
a sane and rational and honest, reasonably honest, as far as we know, is honest.
I believe so. Absolutely. He's a stand-up guy.
Straight down the line, stand-up guy, and he just said it as exactly how it is.
But like so many leaders, he's not doing the popular thing. He's doing the thing that's right. He's trying to get it right. He's not trying to be right. He's trying to get it right. Whereas you and I both hold the opinion that our Prime Minister is trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to be right, trying to be liked, trying to be. I don't get it.
Our Prime Minister is like the sympathetic friend.
It's
who will just tell you what you want to
and it doesn't. Well, yeah, and it doesn't build a lot of confidence either. No. I'm surprised there hasn't been some sort of leadership spill, but something's brewing. That's for sure.
Again, this from the man that pulled out on a $92 billion deal with the French for the submarines. Just like that. And just doesn't have anything to answer for it. You can't just do that. As a Prime Minister, we have integrity as a country.
Yeah.
We have relations that we need to...
Diplomatic integrity.
You're the diplomat man.
You're
That's
the head
your
dude.
job.
You're the head dude.
Yeah. You make the decisions that's right, and
You
you
represent
deal with
But
the situation
he
as a
represents
diplomat.
Well, he represents all of us.
Yeah.
No matter, you and I. What do you think that people from the country of France will now think of Australians, irrespective they're not Scott Morrison?
Yeah. In Australia, if you're in some sort of establishment and there's a pool table, okay, you put down a coin on the table.
Yep. Not on the cushion part.
It's universally understood.
Yeah, not on the cushion part. It has to be on the wood part.
On the wood part.
On the wood part.
You put your coin on the wood part. And that means you're next.
Yep.
When they're finished.
Yep.
It is universal.
Yep.
In Australia.
You've committed.
That's committed. Once that coin is down
what
on
you
the
can't
wood,
do. I think I know where you're going with this.
No one can argue.
I think I know where you're going. Keep going.
No one can argue.
No. I'm not going to
The coin is down.
Now, when that table gets cleared, you can't then say, you know what? That table over there looks better. I'm going to take my coin.
That's right.
Can't do it. You've claimed it. You got to see the commitment through.
If you're claiming the mateship and the Anzac spirit,
God,
and every Australiana kind of thing that you want to make, you have to stand by it 100%. You can't just flip-flop.
And then let's not talk about him going over to, where was it, Ireland for that summit.
Yeah.
Oh God. You know what they should have done? They should have just gone a dude with a puppet. Should have just rocked up and would have done a better job.
Yep.
Would have done a better job.
It's an aggro. Aggro.
Aussie ostrich.
Aussie ostrich, whoever you want.
Good God. It's how many
electric cars. We said it. We did it. The electric future. We said it.
We did. It was our episode 4 or something.
He was poo-pooing all over the electric car issue, and then he just flip-flops again. It's like we said, how can you say, yes, we are trying to somehow make ways into the environmental issues.
Of course.
We're trying to do things the right way. We're trying to help people, have more efficient lives, to try to maintain the usage of energy in an efficient way. Now, we did say that obviously all the emissions of electric cars are hidden.
Well, that's true. Depends on how
in
you
the
produce,
power generation.
how you create that power, right? There's other ways you can create it.
Still,
it is.
You need to drive it forward. Like it needs to be, and it's up to the governments to create that incentive. So where's the incentive in saying, okay, you can get a rebate from the government if you buy an electric car, but then hang on, you don't pay excise tax for fuel. Because there's no fuel.
No, there isn't.
We're going to give you a tax on your electric car.
We still need that money.
Because you're being more efficient, yes, just to make sure that we still get our money. Even though you're paying, everything for the electricity and all that.
That fuel thing goes back to the 70s, the decision that the Liberals made back in the 70s. And that's 40 years later and beyond, it's haunting us. But that's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Speaking of electric cars.
Oh, yeah?
I'm just going to decide to bring down the anger a little bit because I'm getting a bit heated myself.
Mate, I tell you.
As you know. So
I'm done with ScoMo anyway.
I was out and about.
Yeah. Oh.
And.
Oh. Is that a Maserati?
I was at a local council. I had a meeting.
That's a Tesla. What is that? That's a Tesla?
And this guy rolled up in his
That's a Tesla?
Tesla.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What did I say Maserati?
That is a Model X, which is 250,000.
Has he smashed the front of his car?
Yeah. Have a look at the dude, man. Look at the dude.
How do you smash a car that's got that many bells and whistles that can drive itself? I don't understand.
But look at the dude in the back.
What's he doing? Is he smoking?
Yeah. the whole time he rolled up
What's he
with the
doing?
smoke in his mouth.
Yeah.
And
At the wait.
he's rolled up to the car park in front of the council that allows free charging.
Free charging.
And and you don't have to pay for parking.
God.
So he reverses the Tesla up, still with the smoke in his mouth. He charges it up, and the Teslas look like it's had a pretty hard life, man. All the rims are scratched from the gutters, and the front is smashed.
The front wheel arch looks like it's being cooked.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the whole time
for the listeners. Oh, for the listeners,
so you're gonna have to explain this to.
Yeah, no, but you got that piece of paper and it's hard to hear, so you're cutting in and out. I think we've seen the picture enough. There we go. Oh, you're too far away.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then
he's clearly been testing the self-drive mode. It hasn't been working well for him.
He scored the free park. He scored the free park and the free charging, and then he's just removed.
Having a diary.
He's removed an electric scooter out the boot, and he's just scooted off.
This is gone. He's going to let it there charge. He's left it. He's going to go and do his Christmas shopping.
And he's gone.
Unbelievable.
The whole time having the smoke in his mouth, and he's wearing a Marvel t-shirt. Not that it just seemed weird. It just seemed.
Where was this?
I was waiting for the meeting that I had, and he just rolled up. He stuck his car on charge, still with the smoke in his mouth. He got the electric scooter out of the boot, and he just left. So, this is how you get around having to pay the extra tax.
It's go to the local council.
He's got free parking, free charging. So he just leaves it there every day and then just scoots off in his electric scooter.
He's got that tied up in a nice little bow.
There you go. There's a way forward. There's a way forward for all of us.
Well, as for Prime Minister, I'm not going to be rude. He does hold, albeit he doesn't do, I believe, the best of jobs. He holds a particular station, and we'll call him the Prime Minister. He needs to step up because he's not leading at the moment. Doesn't like making the hard decisions. Doesn't want to stand by the hard decisions.
There's no decision. It's not just the hard
exactly,
decision.
And it's almost like he doesn't want to make no decisions because he is concerned how it's going to diminish any popularity or how he's viewed.
Yep.
Prime Minister Morrison, being a leader, is sometimes doing things which don't make you popular. So
it's doing the right thing.
It's doing what is right.
That's what being a leader is. You're doing what is right.
And those leaders who are questioning, imposing themselves on people's lives, maybe you should just grab a Coke and a smile and maybe watch how they go about their business and how they really operate and how they run their governments. And I think you could learn a thing or two, to be quite honest with you. Because
maybe instead of going to Hawaii,
I've seen the under-9 soccer team be more coordinated. Yeah, locally in Berwick. I'm telling you, I've seen more coordination under-9 soccer than I am at the moment in federal parliament, because it's a joke. And these people get paid well.
And that's an understatement.
Oh,
these people get paid
very well,
and have all the privileges one could have. And
you can see that even the opposition party are getting frustrated. It's like, well, what are you guys doing? Even the opposition, you can see that there's frustration that we've got a country to govern here. You guys are playing. I don't know what they're doing.
Maybe there should be 4 C's because the other C, they put the C into country. Is what they've done.
Maybe. So
I've got another joke, Phil.
That's our love letter.
I've got another joke.
Get serious, Scott Morrison. Yeah, go.
I've got another joke.
Let's do a joke and we'll wrap it up.
So this one, unfortunately, is a joke that we'll have to explain for the listeners.
Sure.
Right? So
okay, you got props on this one.
I'm going to let you explain it, but I hope that actually shows up.
Okay. So we got here.
You got to. I'm gonna.
Yeah. So we got here. We can see some of it.
Read what one seal is saying.
So what's that? Is what one seal says, and then another seal says it's anti-shark hat, which is a pineapple on their head.
Yep.
And one shark says to the other underneath, fancy some seal, to which the other shark responds, no thanks, it's got pineapple on it. And I agree with that shark. Pineapple is a fruit that belongs in desserts. That's it. If I was, you know what I should have done today? I should have joined those rallies in Melbourne, and I should have walked down Burke Street with a sign that said at the front, no pineapple on pizza.
All pineapple on pizzas.
No pineapple on pizza. Because
there's no place on pizza.
That is a serious problem. That is a serious problem. That is a great... Where'd you find that? Well, we couldn't see it all. We couldn't see the sharks.
I know. I can't see it, but
like we can read it for our listeners. And if you're listening, jump on a YouTube channel. Jump on and you can see all these good props that the...
And you can see the faces
other man
that
puts up. That's right. You can see the Uber man and the other man in action. Well, it was a good topic. It's one of you and we've had before, so I'm glad that we've covered it on the podcast. And probably the listeners, you're probably wondering why we haven't gotten as ethical or as fired up as we have, is because Sid and I we've had enough. We've had enough of the lack of we don't appreciate it.
We're only just a couple of dads.
We are
2 dads,
but we leadership we respect. Good leadership for the purpose.
We respect the position.
Yeah, absolutely. But that position comes with responsibility.
Needs to be respectful as well.
Yeah,
so
it comes with responsibility, and it's not being met at the moment, and it hasn't been met for a while. Let's be clear. And this goes back to, and it all ties in nicely with your comment and the title of the podcast. I don't hold a hose, mate.
Yep.
He's just Teflon, this man. He doesn't want any responsibility, but yet he wants the position.
I don't know how he manages to walk around with no spine. I don't know how he managed to do anything. He must be studied by the whole of for the medical industry, because I don't know how he manages to do it.
Let's just see how he holds up in about 5 or so months.
But please, to everyone that will ever hear this or see this, if you're in Australia and there's an election, please vote responsibly.
Yeah, it's your voice. That's your biggest voice you can have.
This is our fault.
Yeah, well, it's when we get to the polls, that's our biggest voice. I mean, protesting, as we've said, we respect it. There's people's democratic right. There've been protests in Melbourne. It's been peaceful, and no problems. No problem with that at all. But your biggest and loudest voice is going to be at a polling booth. Simple as that.
That's right.
That's the one that matters the most. That's the one that's going to shape, change, create the path for the nation. So
that's right. It is a democratic process.
It is. You go in there and take it. It's your chance it's your responsibility to be serious. Take it serious, because your vote, it does count. It absolutely counts.
But standing up in front of the Parliament House of your state with some sort of hangman's noose, is not actually changing anything. It's just showing up how ignorant and small-minded you actually are. So you need to do what is the responsible thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the leader, vote them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or run yourself. If you believe,
you think,
I can do a better job.
Go for it.
Go
for it. Of course you should. Anyone can. No one should be either discouraged or stopped or in any way. I think you can go for it. So, but as for, like we said,
and if you do run, make sure you tell people if you drive a Camry or not, because that's a deal breaker.
For some of these podcasts, it's an absolute deal breaker.
That's a deal breaker.
Oh, well, we've come to that time where we've got to wrap things up.
Right.
Is there anything in the last 5 minutes we want to wrap up with?
No, I think I've done
You've done all the hard stuff?
I could do a whole podcast just on jokes, just to see if I can make you pass out.
The two parasites.
Say that one again. What is the difference?
Say it again. What do the Eiffel Tower
and a tick
Having common.
Common. Having common. They are both parasites. And what do you call a fish with a bow tie?
Sophisticated. That's brilliant. Good way to end it.
That is Two Dads. That's episode 8.
That's it.
That's hashtag I don't hold a hose, mate.
Don't hold a hose, mate. Oh well, maybe you should try. You'd be surprised what you might be able to achieve. Maybe you should try. But to all our listeners and our viewers, thanks again for joining us. Sid, as always, it's a pleasure to have this, albeit a day late. I'm glad we managed to catch up and do this again. We'll be back next Friday as per usual. So tune on in then. So Sid, you have yourself a good rest of the weekend and a week. And everyone, please take care and be safe. All right. Take care, everyone.
Please stay safe, everyone. See ya.
Bye.
All have a good week.
Yeah.